Well, this is a very special project for this course. I brought you an example of how to produce string data from a backend API to a front-end interface. You're gonna read a CSV file, parse it to JSON, and then send it back to the front-end app on demand. You will control the speed of the data flow going out of your application, and on the front-end side, you not only consume the string, but also implement a way to cancel the data stream and stop receiving data with the abort controller API. You may think of this example as the streaming platform I mentioned in the last class. Instead of hitting your API a lot, you would establish a connection that is kinda WebSocket application, consume information on an infinite scroll screen, and stop it as you wish. Sick of just listening about it? Time to get hands-on. Let's close the other application and let's create our project here. So I'm gonna go to the fourth module and I will write to consuming APIs as strings. So this is gonna be a full project. So we're gonna create two different apps here, or two different applications, right? And on the app, it's gonna be our front end, and the server, it's gonna be our backend application. Well, in the server, let's start by the server. We prepare everything, and then we can back to the front end. So I'm gonna initialize a Node.js project here. I will put it as an ECMAScript module, right? As we've done a lot in this course. I'm gonna create here an index file. And I'm gonna create here the start node watch index.js. All right, I'm gonna put dev so we know that it's like a node-mon or a node.js application running. Okay, perfect. So to make this application work, I've already put here in the description of this video the CSV we're gonna use, but I'm gonna show you the source where I got it. So we can go here to the Kaggle. Kaggle is a very nice platform that gives us databases so we can process a lot there, okay? So I'm gonna download the list of animes from 1999 to 2022. So here we can see a lot of data, right? And a lot of different types. So you have the CSV, JSON, and the Excel file, right? So I'm gonna just click download here to download this application. So I'm gonna click here. So here I'm gonna try downloading the CSV file, right? That contains a lot of data here. We are not gonna use all the data, but a few of them to print out on our front end, okay? So here you can click download. So you might want to log in first so you can download it and then save on our project. So on the server side, it's gonna be there. Okay, so here if I click open on Mac, it's gonna uncompress the zip already for me, right? So I have already here. Just find out how you can uncompress a file, but the CSV is there. Let's go back to our application, and we can see here. So I installed the CSV viewer just to check out what's the data on a CSV file. But you can also just go here and check out all the data. So we have 400,000 lines we can use, and that's it for now. Okay, so first of all, we're gonna need to create a server file, right? We should actually enable cars so we can access it from other applications that's not running on the same port. So let's get started. First of all, from node http create server, I'm gonna create here a port. It's gonna be 3000. I'm gonna use create server, and I'm gonna use the response and request. Oops, it's opposite. It's request and response. Okay, then I'm gonna use listen, and then I'm gonna do different, and I'm gonna listen to it. So I'm gonna say console.log project is running at port. Okay, And then I'm gonna put here just the response.end. Okay, just to see if the project is running. I'll put here application. I think it's better. And then I'm gonna split this terminal, and I will use curl to make the request. So you can even go on your browser or install curl. I think curl it's on all applications, right? All operating systems such as Windows, Mac, and Linux. So I'm gonna use -n to download it as string, and I'm gonna use localhost 3000. So the OK is there. We are almost set for the server now. Perfect. Well, the first thing I'm gonna do is to enable cars, right? To enable cars, we're gonna type the headers, and we're gonna set some headers here. So the access, control, allow, origin, it's gonna be the key, and I'm gonna duplicate, and now it's method. Make sure you type this string correctly so you won't face any problem, okay? Nice. Usually the browser hits our application on the options, right? So if the request.method it's options, then we're gonna do something. I'm gonna response with the head 204 with the headers and with the response.end and return it, okay? So once the browser asks, oh, do I have permission to access your application? This path is gonna say, oh, it's everything right, just go on, okay? Nice. If it's post, get, or any other method, we just gonna keep doing our thing. Okay, do you remember how to read a file from Node.js? Yeah, that's it. So we're gonna use from Node fs the create read string, right? So the create read string on our file, which is anime.csv, okay? Nice. If we just pipe to our response, we're gonna see all this data here, right? So if I just hit the same thing, we can see all the file on our terminal. We've done this before, so this is not new for us. Well, okay, but in this case, actually, I want to convert it to a web string. So as I said in the previous class, we can actually use the node string, right? And in this case, I'm gonna use readable because in the last class we used readable from to actually convert a readable from Node.js. So to web actually, right? And then we can actually import from the node string web the maybe writable string. Yeah, let's get the writable string in this case. So I'm gonna use pipe2, right? Because pipe2 is usually the last step. I'm gonna grab the chunk, and for each chunk I have here, I'm gonna use the response.write chunk, and then once it closed, we can use the response.end. Now makes sense, right? Now it's better to use it. Nice. Let's save it and let's see if it's still working. So I just ran, everything is working as expected, okay? Well, I think on the third module, maybe it was on the second one. Yeah, the second one we created our own CSV to JSON file, right? But now I'm gonna teach you how you can use actually very known libraries made for Node.js stream. So I'm gonna start with the CSV to JSON on the version 2. And then I'm gonna try converting this one to actually a web string. So CSV to JSON. Okay, and we can do exactly the same thing. So I'm gonna use transform because it's a transform thing, right? We usually use the CSV to JSON to actually process data. And then I'm gonna use here a pipe through, okay, transform to web CSV to JSON. Just it, my friend. Let's see if it's it's gonna work for us. So I'm gonna keep it working, and I'm gonna hit the thing here again and see everything is JSON right now. All right, we can actually try doing something to check it if our string is working fine. So we can get from the timers promises, set timeout, and actually on the right, before hitting our height, we can just say, oh, I'm gonna stop so we can do it later. So I'm gonna save it, and now we're gonna see that we are gradually receiving data, which is how a string work, right? Perfect. What else? Well, I'm gonna create here a variable called items, and for each item we process, I'm gonna just put more and more items here. Okay, items. And then I'm gonna attach here some event for the request. So once it closed, we know that the user disconnected or just cancel the whole thing. So connection was closed. Okay, and then I'm gonna put here how many items we processed. So we can actually use the signal. Okay, so see, now I'm gonna run this thing, and then when I hit the Ctrl C, we can see how many items were processed there. So I'm gonna hit there, just 5 now. If I let more time, we can see the numbers changing. Okay, I'm gonna just remove this space here that is freaking me out. Yeah, perfect. Connection was closed, 6 processed. Nice. So now we have our CSV to JSON, which is a very known library in the Node.js ecosystem, but now we are using web streams to make it work. Well, not only parsing to JSON, but actually I want to select some fields so I can use the pipe through here, and I'm gonna use now the transform string. So transform string from the string web, right? So you can notice that everything with web has string right after it, okay? So new transform string, I'm gonna use transform, grab the chunk, the controller, and actually we can try seeing how the data is flowing here. So I'm gonna just press through the chunk, but I want to print out the chunk so we can see what is there, right? So I'm gonna hit. So here we have a buffer, right? A uint array. So if I have here buffer dot from our chunk and hit again, now we can see the chunk. If I use toString, we can hit and see the JSON. Nice. Now we can see. Oops, I stopped the wrong one. And now we can see the chunk there, but actually it hasn't stopped, right? The processing. Yeah, maybe we should do something here, but yeah, let's keep working. So first of all, I actually here, I am not sure if I could use the text decoder to make it work as we've done in the last example. Let's see. I'm gonna save it and run. I'm not sure because, yeah, because the way the CSV JSON is returning data, I'm not sure if you should use like this, but no problem, not biggie. First of all, let's get our data, json.parse our buffer from chunk. We don't need the toString anymore. And let's get the mapped data. So from the data, we can see some fields here, right? So we can see the title, description, maybe the URL, and maybe, yeah, I think those are okay. So title, data title, description, data description, and then the URL, it's data URL anime, right? URL anime. Nice. Well, now that we have our data there, we should just pass through this function, right? But remember that the CSV JSON is actually producing an MD-JSON file, right? So we should remember that we should keep the break line right after it. So now I'm gonna convert it to JSON string file, okay? In our mapped data, it's gonna concat at the end a break line. So if I save it and I run again, now we can keep seeing our files coming off here, right? But much shorter. Okay. Well, now we are consuming data. We are closing the whole thing if the user is stopped. All right, but I'm curious. I'm not sure if this data flow is stopping after the user is connected. So let's log out this mapped data. I'm gonna run it and I'm gonna hit the Ctrl C, but you can see it's working, right? It's still running our data flow because there's no way to tell our data flow that it must stop. Well, hopefully you know a very nice API to cancel operations, which is, yeah, my friend, the abort controller. So let's create an abort controller, and then I'm gonna use the abort controller abort after the user close our operation, and then under last pipe 2 there, right, we gonna send the signal, which is abort controller signal, right? Let's check this out now. I'm gonna hit again and I'm gonna stop it, and now the whole operation just stopped, right? We can see the connection, but we got an error here. Well, we can actually get this abort from the abort here, so we can get the reason console.log aborted and reason. Let's check this out now. If I hit here, I will stop it. We will see the full error here in our message. I'm not sure if it is just the full, no, actually our application broken, right? So we should handle this pipe 2 that returns to us a promise, right? So here we can actually, I am not sure if we can use the async await on the 2 app. Yeah, it should work because we are piping everything. Let's try out with a try cat. Otherwise we use it there. So let's see. I'll put an await here. Just make sure this is an async function. Let's see. I'm gonna run again and stop it. Yes, it worked, right? Our application is still running. We have just the full log here. If you don't want the full log, we can actually do the whole thing here. Error code is different, then abort error, then we throw it again. In our pipe 2 here, I don't need the reason if I want to. So let's try out now. I'm gonna stop it. Yeah, it actually, yeah, it seems we must keep our, no, maybe the message, it's done exception. I'm not sure. Error. Let's check this out. And done exception, right? It's abort error. So we can try getting the code here to check what the abort controller brings us. Error code 20. Oh no, this is not good. Message. This operation was aborted. Better. I think they have reason as well. undefined, no. So if the message includes, it's abort, right? I think it's abort. Abort, then we know it. So I'm gonna run again and true. Yes. So if it's not an abort thing, so if it's false, we throw this thing again. Otherwise, we just keep our application running. Nice, my friend. Working fine, right? Perfect. So we are just establishing everything here. I'll just put our code there. We can keep running. Yes, it's aborting the operations and it's respecting everything we want now. Well, we are sending JSON data. We are receiving, we are mapping this data as well. We have the cars, and I think we are ready to go to the next class. In the next class, we're gonna do the front end of this application. So let's check it out. I'm Eric Wendell, and I'll see you in the next class.